I want you guys to absorb this statement. You have a purpose that is more impactful and greater than you realize. You are somebody and you matter, especially to others. Sometimes we don't always see it right away, but as humans, we thrive and grow through connection and socialization. This can be difficult for some people to absorb, especially if they've experienced trauma, hardship, or life keeps beating them down. No matter how much you try, someone is waiting to take you down, or the other shoe's waiting to drop. We all have different experiences in life that can leave us feeling lost, shattered, and broken. I've heard, "I'm no good for others," or "nobody cares if I live or die." Just because you haven't tapped into your identity, it doesn't mean that you don't serve a purpose. It just means that there is a delay that temporarily derailed you. But the derailment isn't permanent. This video is about finding your purpose. Whether you feel lost, stagnant, broken, or numb, you are meant to exist. From a young age, I knew that my purpose was to help other people, but I didn't know in what capacity. Perhaps it was my environment that guided my direction. I was raised by a single mom in low-income housing, and there were similar stories to my own. Seeing other kids younger than me experience hardship made me want to help them, even though I was a kid myself. I remember being 5 years old, walking from the grocery store with my mom and my brother, and I was begging my mom to let me carry some of the groceries to help her out, but she would only let me carry the bread. That was the first memory of me wanting to help somebody else. I eventually became a social worker and psychotherapist, but I always wanted to work with kids, but now I'm working with adults. Maybe your purpose isn't as obvious as mine was, or maybe it's something that you never thought too hard about. When someone experiences trauma or hardship, they're all about survival. And a lot of the times, people go through life existing without thinking outside of themselves. I challenge you to think about it. Maybe your purpose is to start a peer support group on Facebook for adult survivors of abuse. Or maybe your purpose is to start a small business and employ people so they can provide for their family. Or maybe your purpose is to feed the homeless, or become an advocate, or become a makeup artist who uses makeup to tell a story. Whatever it is, you don't have to be tied to an old story about yourself and your life. Maybe your family told you that you'll never amount to anything, or maybe you became a teenage mom and you were kicked out of the house and slut-shamed. You don't have to abide by other people's narrative about who you are. I want you to ask yourself, what are you passionate about? What brings you joy? What do you stand for? If your answer is, "I don't know," the next question you should ask yourself is a little deeper than, "What is my purpose?" I suggest asking yourself the following questions, and I want you guys to write this down on a piece of paper. Do I have a sense of identity? What do I like? What do I dislike? Do I have hobbies? What do I do for fun? What are my values? Am I content with my life? In my experience, some people who aren't content with their life are not sure what their purpose is, and they are existing until their future life magically unveils itself. The questions that I suggested go a little deeper into deciphering who you are. Figuring out who you are can provide you with a clear direction for everything else. In order to figure out who you are and what your purpose is, you have to exist in reality and come to terms with your current life. You'll want to spend time alone getting to know yourself. Leave the self-judgment and bullying at the door. The only way you'll get an answer is by allowing vulnerability, exploration, curiosity, truth-seeking, and self-compassion into your life. Sometimes you're blinded to your purpose because it's not what you thought it would be. Your current reality doesn't align with your future plans. Maybe the long-term relationship you had didn't work out. You're single, almost 30 or almost 40, and you're not sure what direction to turn into. Maybe you were supposed to be an athlete, but you blew your knee out. Or perhaps your purpose was to become a lawyer and defend the innocent, but you didn't have the grades to get into law school. A part of finding your purpose is self-acceptance. It's easy to wallow in self-pity and defeat because life didn't turn out the way you planned it. Sometimes we're so busy rejecting our reality that we stay stuck in the past or future. You start to experience depression and anxiety, and you feel behind in life. You now believe that you no longer have a purpose and you just exist on autopilot. Guess what? Life happens and it's not always fair. Dreams are shattered, but it is possible to rebuild. Don't try to rebuild the old. That's when we get stuck because the pieces are no longer fitting together. When plans don't work out, you have to pivot, and as your plans change, so do you. Tap into your strengths and look outside of yourself. Having a purpose is about being able to serve other people. Ask yourself, how can I be of service to someone else? It can start with just one person. Maybe you can provide words of encouragement to someone who is having a difficult time. Or perhaps you can volunteer your time somewhere. Your purpose is bigger than fame and riches. It's bigger than fulfilling a selfish act and bragging to your friends or social media. One question you might ask is, where do I start? I mentioned a few things earlier on in the video, but the first step is to be introspective and reflective on what you care about. What brings you joy? When you watch the news, is there something that you care about that pulls at your heartstrings? What do you pride yourself in doing, and how can that help other people? When you go out, are there things that you notice that you would like to correct or take action with? You could also ask your friends or family to list positive qualities that they notice about you. If you don't have friends or family, write your own list of things that you notice about yourself and join a support group. If you still don't know, use this opportunity to get to know yourself. Take yourself on a date, be curious, and explore who you are without judgment. I'll stop here for now. If you made it to the end of my video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share as it does help my channel grow. Also, comment below what you believe your purpose is. Bye for now.